Nearly 10 years ago, this region didn't have an identity like it does today. Not only are we building an identity, but we're building a movement across this region of how we as residents, as workers, as students, how we thrive.
A regional focus truly encompasses the scale at which we live our lives. We as people don't live between margins and boundaries. We flow between places. We live, consume, and travel across state lines. It makes sense then that someone takes a holistic outlook that shapes our future.
Traditionally, we all have been looking at areas in silos, for example, mobility or energy. So what is important is actually to bring all of these together and look at it collectively and then see that, okay, what can be done?
We're so fortunate to live in a region that has an abundance of natural treasures that attract people from all over the world to come live and work in our community. Every region knows that you need good jobs in order to thrive. What makes our approach different is that we're also focused on the thing that makes our region unique, which is our natural treasures.
This region is poised to experience tremendous growth. We expect that in the next 50 years, the population is going to double. With that comes added pressure on our natural resources, on our transportation.
Thrive is the only organization thinking about our transportation infrastructure at the regional level, and that has to be solved at the regional level because of our three-state geography.
This region is Freight Alley. Freight impacts every aspect of our lives. It includes the trucks that you see on the road, the rail, and our river. Are we using the barge traffic as efficiently as we can? How we handle freight moving through this region, the decisions we make today impact our communities, the natural treasures. So how we collaborate at the state level and at the local level, to me that's the most important thing that Thrive is doing today, is convening those groups.
Our region is full of proud communities that are just a wealth of history and culture and creativity. So we work with them to identify their distinctive assets and leverage those to create their own community and economic vibrancy. With them, we have built an inclusive network across 16 counties and 3 state lines to address the complexities of regional growth.
This approach allowed people to become engaged and allowed them to voice their opinion and concerns, and they began to feel like they were taking ownership of a process.
What Thrive allowed us to do was take the time to sit down with parts of my community that I didn't realize I was disconnected from. I think what we were expecting to hear was people wanting more amenities, but really what we heard was a desire for people to feel connected. And then we got to turn what we heard into actual experiences and experiments.
These are the people that are living in these regions. They understand their need, they understand their challenges, they understand their priorities, so they can help us to see that, okay, what we are working on is even valuable or not. So now we're making sure that we can hear everybody's voice through the data that has been collected.
I've worked many years in the conservation field across the country, and I've never seen a program like this. Thrive to me is, from a community perspective, taking a holistic, human-centric approach to sustainable development.
We do not take a top-down approach. That never works. People need to be a part of the change, and they need to be a part of steering that change in the direction that they wish for it to go.
I know that real change and sustainable progress takes time, and it only moves at the pace of relationships. I thought I knew my community, but I didn't really know my community. And Thrive was kind of that missing piece that connected all those dots.
Without Thrive, what's going to happen in the future is anybody's guess. With Thrive, we have the opportunity to work together to make sure that we develop in the right way, that services the economy, that services transportation, but protects the things that make people want to live here, which are the natural treasures.
Thrive's simple proposition is that growth isn't either or. We can have large-scale economic growth and charming, distinctive communities. We can optimize freight corridors and protect beautiful places for public health and recreation. As people, we don't live our lives in silos, and at Thrive, we believe the future shouldn't be planned in them. There is strength in looking at these complex questions holistically and collaboratively across geographic boundaries. With Thrive, partners rely upon each other's strengths and the best, most relevant information available. The quality of life of this region is more promising with this collaborative and optimistic approach.
We're excited to see where that wave ends up. It's going to spread throughout our whole community, and it's going to make a difference. And we will be alive again and thriving.